Okay, we're here with Anthony Kolnec, who has a new series, Shadow at the Abbey. Book's coming out. Anthony, great to have you.
Great to be here, thanks.
Tell me about the book.
So this is a trilogy that takes place in 12th century England. It's actually about a young boy who winds up getting named Zan, who gets orphaned at a Benedictine abbey. And while he's there, he winds up having to solve all these kind of spooky mysteries, while at the same time, him and the girl character, Lucy, are essentially trying to figure out, what does God want for my life? So it's really, it's kind of a spooky, you know, I like to think of it as Harry Potter meets the Hardy Boys or Brother Catfill, more like it, because it's 12th century medieval England.
So this is a series for young adults?
It's actually a middle school and high school series, although I've had a lot of good feedback from older young adults and even adults. Frankly, parents usually enjoy it and give me a lot of feedback positively, because there's a lot of good religious themes about, you know, vocation, redemption, forgiveness, that kind of thing. And the kids really like it because it's kind of spooky and has a lot of adventure and suspense in it.
And it's important to realize that if you're telling a story that talks about the faith and talks about it in a positive manner, that doesn't mean you can't have action, you can't have suspense, you can't have mystery. And there seems to be this thought that you cannot tell that kind of a story in a positive light, and that's just not true.
Oh, absolutely not true. And in fact, it's a historical fiction story, so there's going to be violence. It's the Middle Ages. You know, there were dangers everywhere. In the first and second book, you know, the main antagonists are these bandits that are raiding the abbey, and this, you know, mysterious shadow that the kids think is potentially the Grim Reaper, essentially. So there's definitely there's nothing the matter with having some of that, because that's part of life. It's the presentation of it in a way that's appropriate for middle school and high school kids. That's, I think, the most important.
Now, is this your first series of books, or have you been writing Catholic fiction for a while?
This is my first fiction series. I'm actually a lawyer, retired Air Force JAG, and law professor. So I write a lot of other nonfiction things, but I wrote this, we were a homeschooling family, and I wrote this really for my 12-year-old son, because there really wasn't any good Catholic middle school fiction out there, especially when I first put pen to paper on this in the early 2000s.
So from stories to your children to books for children everywhere, that's a good progression.
Absolutely, and I've sold it a lot because I do teach, I do talk to homeschoolers a lot. I go to homeschool conferences, and a lot of homeschool families have bought the book where I've been, and they really love it. I mean, they're looking for something like this. You know, they don't want their kids necessarily reading Harry Potter. They want an alternative, but the kids want something that's actually going to be told to them in a way that's really interesting and exciting, and so I think it meets a good compromise for that.
And if we want to find this book, where can we find this book and your other writing?
So I should mention one or two things on this. The book was previously known as The Chronicles of Zan. Zan is the main character, the boy. And so, you know, it's available essentially online, Amazon. You can order it through Catholic bookstores and all that. But what I've done is I've taken the series back. It was published through a small publisher, non-denominational publisher, and I've got the rights back, and I'm re-releasing it under this new title now, The Harwood Abbey Mysteries. And the first one, Shadow at the Abbey, should be out in August or September of this year, and it will be available through all of your online channels, and of course you can go to your local Catholic bookstore, and they should be able to get it through Ingram.
Anthony Kolnec, the book is going series Shadow at the Abbey, the Haywood Abbey Mysteries. Thank you so much for your time.
And thanks so much, Peter. Appreciate it.